Alright, what's going on, everybody? How about we head to Orzammar? I can refrain no longer. I've got to go there. This is like my favorite place in the game. It's where I have the most fun. I think it's the biggest of the main quest areas, too.
Indeed.
Considering, you know, you deal with all the politics and the intrigue and stuff in Orzammar itself, and then you go into the Deep Roads and deal with all that. Then there's a section of the Deep Roads after that where you uncover a main story plot with Bronca and all that. Of course, we'll get into that when we get there. But yeah, let's go ahead and head there because this is definitely it's definitely a lot of fun for me. And we have this ambush set up here. This is because we've helped the elves. You'll notice the elves have set up some barricades here, and the Darkspawn are, of course, attacking them like they do. So we'll come in and get a few extra experience points, if nothing else, right? Now, I'll tell you what, heading back to Orzammar, it's kind of personal, too, I have some scores to settle with my brother, who, let's see, framed me for the death of my other brother, whom he killed, and, if my assumptions are right, he probably killed our dad, too, to get the throne. We know that the king is dead. We found out in a very rude manner, I might add, that our father had passed away, and, you know, a hell of a way to break the news to us, but, anyway, we get to go back and find out that we're about, ourselves and Bhelen are about the only ones left in our family. Bhelen will do everything he can to get the throne, and I'm not looking forward to a world that he would create, were he in power. Not that he could do any more harm to the dwarves than what's already been done, because yeah, their whole society, their whole system is based on this type of behavior, basically. Who can kill who and seduce everyone else into turning a blind eye to it. And, yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. But, it's neat coming from this origin as a noble is, you know, I'm on the family side of the intrigue, and now I'm no better than what you consider a casteless person in Orzammar, and that would be like the other dwarven origin, where you start out in the slums and you essentially work your way out of Orzammar and find your way into the Wardens through a completely different means. You see some similar areas, but from the complete opposite end of the spectrum. Well, now we've been cut down to size, so to speak, and we're returning to Orzammar as a complete exile, totally stricken from the books, as if we never existed, cursed by the ancestors, and I don't know, you name it, whatever. Apparently, our brother, it wasn't bad enough just to pin the murder on us, but he got us completely, what would you say, exercised from the books, so that should we ever make a comeback, we could never be included amongst any part of Dwarven society again. I mean, he was thorough with his little scheme and plots, and, you know, the best saboteurs usually are. That's how they roll, but, anyway, so we'll go back and we'll straighten some of this stuff out. Mainly, we need to get the Dwarves to honor their agreement with the Grey Warden treaties. We already cleared all this out earlier when we came looking for Sten's swords, so it's basically a clear shot to the front doors. We haven't entered Orzammar yet, though, so be some cool stuff to see on the way in. Here we have the Surfacers Market here. I wonder why they're still here, though. You don't see a lot of dwarves out and about.
I've told you what I know. If you'll excuse me, I've had quite enough stress over this.
Oh, certainly.
I remember this guy having some stuff. We couldn't shop with him the first time, but now that I'm back here, he's got some decent leveled weapons, right? Oh, wow. You know what? I totally forgot about this, and it doesn't cost a whole lot either, but for Alistair, this is essentially the best armor in the game. Maybe for any character, really. I honestly totally forgot about it. But look at that spell resistance. You add that with Alistair's amulet and whatever else he's got, and he's essentially spell-proof, which, with mages being the greatest threat in the game, in my opinion, that makes him damn near invincible. Not exactly invincible, pretty close. I don't think he can quite wear it yet, though. I think I'm going to need to give him a few more points in strength to put that on, but that's cool. Now we've got that. And so I bought Evan the Great's mail, and yeah, I have money to throw around, because I've just been getting it when I need it, but probably wouldn't have bothered. Now, Evan the Great's would have been great for myself if I was playing a warrior. It's really, really good armor. I think the Legion of the Dead looks cooler on a dwarf, but Evan the Great's male. It has some really good buffs on it. Yeah, I'm a little short on this. This is some pretty massive armor. And it's essentially a lower tier than what he's already wearing, but considering it's a grade up in the armor rating, then it's still actually a little better than what he's got on. But look at that spell resistance. That in and of itself is enough. As long as he can stay on his feet and face the mages, we're good.
You've done me a service. That fool Imrek was barking for a week. Are all humans so touched? You are free to enter Orzammar, Grey Warden. Though I don't know what help you will find.
Alright.
A trust follow, Warden.
How magnificent. These must be the statues of the Dwarven paragons.
These are a lot of free codex. Now, apparently in
all Orzammar will know your name.
Dwarven tradition, or religion, or whatever you want to call it, they really don't have necessarily a religion. I think they consider their politics and their religion, their traditions, and everything all essentially lumped up into the same thing. They're not into complicating matters much. But if an ancestor proves him or herself extremely worthy by doing something that's going to benefit the dwarves as a whole, like forever, perpetually, like someone invents the sandwich or something, then they become a paragon, and essentially it's their version of a god. So they can ascend to godhood, showing they were blessed by the ancestors before them. And in their beliefs, the ancestors who pass on guide the generations after that. And so it becomes even a bigger deal to them if you get exiled or kicked off the books or do something that's so heinous that you are considered no longer part of Dwarven society or recognized by the ancestors, that you have now, in their eyes, lost the guidance of the ancestors also. So you're essentially, in their eyes, cursed, too. I mean, in a religious sense, cursed. If that makes sense. But as long as you are an ancestor of one of these paragons or one of these noble houses, then you are considered blessed, because you must be guided by them.
And a king who nominates his successor. None of it is carried in the blood.
Or, as now, when someone tries using the assembly to pull a coup. Who's to say what my father said in his final hours, when the usurper Harrowmont was the only one by his side?
I'll have you thrown in prison.
You've bitten off more than you can chew.
Handlers, separate these dashers in the diamond quarter. I will not have Bhelen incite a riot.
Do not speak that way about the man who should be king!
And this is how they do things. Alright, so no accountability here, considering he's a noble. He's above the law, I guess. But yet the next guy who kills somebody can get kicked out of Dwarven society completely, so it's a who-you-know thing. When politics are governing, there is no government. There is no government, as long as politics are governing. It's a shame.
Exile, you are not to show your face here again. I have enough crime to deal with. I shouldn't have to dump you back in the deep roads.
Well, hello to you too.
That's right. You found pity topside. The Warden should have better sense when choosing allies. Surfacers and their cloud-addled heads. Fine, oh illustrious Grey Warden. What do you want? I'll wager you do. But with your history, you won't get near him. Make your appeals to Vartag Gavorn, Bhelen's voice in the Assembly. Sorry, Warden, but the ancestors know your place.
Wow.
Blame yourself for that. The deaths in your house brought us here. And still the tavern is open, and the market is busy. Orzammar has suffered worse. The ancestors will see us through. Surface problems. Well, we have no king to hear you. You can join the shouting at the assembly in the Diamond Quarter if you want. Bunch of Desher lords bickering over sand. Bhelen, Harrowmont. Is one so different? No paragons here. Are you sure you're still a dwarf? Ancestors have patience. If Bronca could hear this, well, I wouldn't be standing in dried blood. If you must be our warden, at least know us. Go to the Shaper of Memories in the Shaperate, the true bright spot in the Diamond Quarter. Yes, you should.
Now, I'm going to ask some questions that I already know the answer to, just for the sake of lore, you know, for anyone who is interested type of deal.
By the ancestors! You were exiled into the deep roads. How can you be standing here? After what he did to Trian, he should be. But I forget. You don't know how things have been here. Since your father died, many have begun to wonder if it was Bhelen's hand behind Trian's death, not yours. Even your father believed that. It's why he appointed Lord Harrowmont as his heir. But enough Deshers support Bhelen to keep the Assembly in a deadlock. You can see how bad things have gotten. You wouldn't dare say so, but the common folk do. Not enough of them, I say. Exactly half the Assembly still supports Bhelen, and their loyalty runs deep. In his sleep, though many whisper those are only sweet words to hide the smell of poison, may the ancestors accept the king among their blessed number. Exactly half the Assembly, but as you know, that means his numbers are dropping. And I'm sure some curse their decision to exile you. But House Iduken stands behind Bhelen still, and they have stricken your name. He still lives in the king's quarters, pretending your father never repudiated him. He seems to think if he's close to the throne long enough, we'll forget he has no right to claim it. He dares not leave his estate often. You've seen what sort of thugs support your brother. A blight? Now? But our warriors are killing each other in the streets. Who will lead the battle? How will we survive? Then may the ancestors guide your efforts. If you seek Lord Harrowmont's support, talk to Dulin Ferender. You'll find him in Harrowmont's estate. Tell him who you are, and I'm sure he can get you an audience. I should return home until the streets become safe again.
I think we essentially got the real scoop right there, basically, and you know, an unbiased, uncut version. I'm going to view my father, at least in light of the the game and my character, as one who was steadfast enough to honor tradition and do his job as king, even at the sake of exiling his own daughter according to the law, whether he agreed with it or not.
Is it true the Darkspawn
doing his duty, and then, knowing just deep down in his heart that was absolutely the wrong thing, even though by rights it was the right thing, to follow the law and the vote of, the elders and so on, even if the assembly was rigged by Bhelen, whatever.
I knew I should have stuck to common nugs. I've gone and lost them too. I'll never find them the way they skitter.
Common nugs? I don't like those. They look dirty.
No way I'm going back to that supplier in Dust Town. Guess I'm shutting it down. Gotta boil them before roasting, but otherwise no, safe as sand. Some people swear they make good pets. May as well leash a turnip, I say. Good on you, stranger. Only need one to turn this around.
Alright, so another little side quest to start on. But yeah, so alright, so my father is not only really, really honorable, but then he apparently died of a broken heart. Now that may have been helped along by poison, but he did everything he could, even on his deathbed,
Oh, I actually was talking to your companions, or are you from the surface too?
I love her. Dagna. We'll see her in Inquisition.
I've been trying forever to find someone who really knows the surface world. I don't suppose you've heard of something called the Circle? Oh Oh, my lady, it's an honor. I've never met an actual mage. Is it true you can manipulate nature's forces with your mind? Like you were born with lyrium in your veins?
Don't let the glamour fool you, child. Wielding magic is a dangerous occupation, and a great responsibility.
I've been trying to reach someone there for years. I've sent missives with every caravan, but I never get a reply. I want to know if they would accept me for study. That would be wonderful. My name is Dagna, daughter of Janar of the Smith Caste. Tell them I've already begun reading the Tevinter Imperiums for Tikum Kadab, and it's just fascinating. Did you know the Imperial Magister Lords once had genealogies of every human family known to produce a mage child?
She's so enthusiastic and adorable. I'm glad we're helping her.
Oh, I'll go pack my bags right now. I'll be waiting by my father's shop.
Cute as a button. And we'll definitely help her. Doing a quick tour of the place before we actually really get down to business, picking up side quests as we go. But yeah, and then, you know, so our father does the best that he can in appointing the best man he sees available to take his place, knowing that, you know, the other brother is rotten. I mean, he knows this. And, you know, what's done and can't be undone. But, yeah, I gotta hold father in that light. In good memory.
Sorry, but I cannot allow you past the front lines without Adesh's permission. And I've heard nothing of any new patrols scheduled to leave today.
Don't let the comm fool you. The Darkspawn are down there, aren't they, Commander?
Either we finally have the edge, which I doubt, or the beasts are building up numbers for the next attack.
The surface? But I thought the vermin never went up that far except
during blights. Ancestors save us if that's what's happening. Of course not. Down here, you're bound to run into giant spiders, deep stalkers, and other vermin. Ugly beasts they are. Walk on two legs, but they have the head of a worm and hunt in packs. Watch out. They're not afraid to take on a group their own size. A few outposts. Legion of the Dead mostly, fools that they are. Some scavenger types too. You know the Legion, don't you? Anyone who can bear arms can join, no matter his crimes, or sanity. They hold a funeral when they join, and swear their only goal is a glorious death. Into the deep roads? Not without a full unit of soldiers to back you, my friend. Or Adesh's permission to risk yourself. Orzammar can't afford to lose its citizens or honored guests on casual visits to the deeps. Aye, for your sake, I hope you've no reason to come here again.
Oh, I'm like Arnold. I'll be back. Alright. Now this is the guy I've been looking for.
Greetings, and welcome to Garen Garrison's luxury goods shop. Wow, there are a lot of you. And I've never seen one of those before. The things they come up with. What was I saying? Oh, I was hoping you wouldn't notice. Most people don't anymore. Or maybe they're too polite to mention it. I had a little incident a few years back. Too much time with the raw lyrium ore, you know. Maybe it was a bad vein. I cut myself and the dust got straight in the blood. Since then, it's been a little hard for me to concentrate. Except when forging, then I'm straight as an arrow. Best work I've ever seen. Look around the shop. See for yourself. Aye, of course we are. You should know that. Even surface dwarves lose it. Us down here, though, we should be able to handle it just fine. Only not too much, and not every day, and not breathing the dust, and not direct in the blood. Ancestors' own bad luck. Right. Best in the trade, you know. I worked the ore myself.
Poor dude. Alright, and he's got like the best dagger that ever existed, ever. So I'll be definitely, I don't even have to think twice about that. That's essentially, why I came to this guy. But I think he may have some tomes and stuff too. Not sure what else he has to offer. Crystals are starting to upgrade. I think Flawless is as good as they get, and those are actually worth quite a bit too. Oh yeah, and in this ring. Very good. Well, you know, I can give that to Alistair too. I mean, he is responsible for keeping everyone on our feet, so most definitely. And he does have a tome. Sweet. I'll buy all those too. Oh, that mirror. Okay, that mirror actually triggers a special little event with Morgan. If you're not best buds yet, you will be after giving that to her. Especially if you do the dialogue right, you know. Just let her know it's just because you're buds. She's really, really cool with that. Gain massive friendship points with her.
Go on, I'm out of the nug game. Got nothing to sell. Saraka, I'm back in the game, such as it is. I don't have much besides gratitude, but find a bunch more of these and I'll toss you whatever I found.
Okay, well, if they're lucrative for you, buddy, then good luck to you. I'll bring you the nugs. I don't remember how many we need. I think the last one is found in the, in Dust Town.
For a tiny people, they certainly build high ceilings.
So, you know that I'm a Templar, right?
I believe what I heard was that you were not, in fact, a Templar. You were trained as one before you became a Grey Warden.
That's right, but I still have all the abilities of one, of course. That doesn't make you nervous.
Should it?
We'll talk to Dagna later once we can bring her good news.
Directing this question at Morrigan.
Ancestors' Garden.
She claims not to be afraid of me, or anything, really. But you've had more experience with Templars than her. I know how mages can...
I'm sorry. Did you have an offering for the ancestors? I can move aside. I don't have much to bring them. My name is Vilda, widow of Turok of the Smith Caste. I pray here every day for my son, Rock. I only wish I knew whether I should be asking for his safe return or for the ancestors to accept his soul. It was 5 years ago. He was only a youngster. He joined a Deep Roads excursion, the only smith to go with the warriors to repair their arms. He was so proud, but he got separated somehow. When they came home, he wasn't with them. The captains don't want to lose anyone searching for stray men. Too many were taken by Darkspawn that way. How? There is no way except to brave the deep roads yourself. A warden? So you could do it. Only wardens face the deep roads without a company packing them. Oh, thank you. The ancestors finally heed my prayers.
Take heart, good widow Vilda. We'll do our best.
Please, find me as soon as you return.
Now, we know Morgan would have been bitching about offering to help this lady. She'd have been like, oh, so we're here to help her too, huh?
Watch out for that puddle of... whatever.
That's the main reason I didn't bring Morgan along for all this right here.
Sod it all, the exile. Never thought I'd see your face in the Commons. Never thought I'd be glad to either. But this can only help Bhelen. Whether he forgives you or you scare people, it's another crack in the old way. He has the legitimate claim, thanks to your failed grab. You abused the old ways, and now he has a chance to change them. I see where the gold is. It flows topside. Bhelen will guide us to adopt a new way. Of course, he can't come out and say that. You among them, I suppose, as though you or Harrowmont would have nothing to gain. How would I know? Nobody here is a paragon. The scales being equal, I go with the promise of more trade. Can't find ore without splitting some stone. my investments are solid, I'll be fine. The Assembly has done us a favor. They've shown just how loose the sand is under our feet. It opens people to change. Orzammar will decide what we can or can't be. Blight may be imminent on the surface, but our warriors are well seasoned against dark spawn. There will be topsiders left for trade. There's no end to them. I'll take your gold. You're good for that.
Okay, let's see where his motivations lie. He's got one point, is that if Bhelen might want to move the dwarves to welcome the surface dwellers and humans and elves and everybody else, you know, and essentially join their society. But one needs to think first, you know, I mean, the player can come in here and very easily change dwarven politics by accepting this evil piece of crap and putting him on the throne to accomplish one thing, thinking it's the better goal is to open up the dwarves to the surface.
Like to buy something, I hope. I want that surface wealth coming back to us, Bhelen's ascension willing.
But tell you what do we have to offer the dwarves? All we have are mages and Templars killing everybody. I mean, even back here in Origins, and we of course already know what happens later. So we're certainly not doing any better. We're doing a lot worse. At least the dwarves can at least sort of stand on their tradition.
Maker's blessing on you, sister. The Maker brought forth this world and every creature in it. He chose a human woman as his prophet and bride, but he loves all races. I'm Brother Burkle of the Red Cliff Chantry, returned to my ancestors' land to spread the chant of light. I'm petitioning to open a chantry in Orzammar. There is resistance. It's obvious the world wasn't created by the mortal souls who dwelt within it. Yet the dwarves of Orzammar persist in worshipping their own forefathers. Will you allow tradition to keep you from the path of enlightenment? The Shaper controls changes in Orzammar's structure and society. I need the Shaper of Memory's permission to open a prayer meeting. Oh, I'd hoped you'd say that. I can see the Maker's hand on your shoulder, guiding you always.
If this chantry could help just one person as much as it helped me, it's worth any trouble.
Please, let me know as soon as you've heard anything.
So anyway, I'm thinking, you know, the dwarves, about what they have to offer the surface is essentially trade, okay? And what we have to offer them is basically nothing. What are we going to do? Just offer more corruption to a society which is already teetering with corruption as it is? You know, they sort of get by.
I once drank a thimble of dwarven ale, woke up a week later
But,
in Jada wearing nothing but my shoes and a towel.
You're not welcome here, exile. I don't care if you're a Grey Warden. I liked your brother. If you need to speak to one of my patrons, do it quickly. But don't expect me to serve you.
Yeah, maybe I like my brother too, bitch.
Yes, and he disgusts me as much as ever. But with him, you know what you're getting. I expected more from you. That I could believe, but don't think I'll take your word on it.
No, of course not.
Now what do you want here?
Not you.
Good. Now stop cluttering up my bar.
Okay. Well, we don't have the option to teach her a lesson, so I guess we'll move on.
Afternoon, stranger. You looking for a stool to share a brew? I recommend the Lycan Ale. They brew it downstairs. Name's Naveen. I fight with Prince Bhelen's Expeditionary Field Unit. Yourself? Aye. I heard the Grey Wardens picked you out of the deep. Good folks, Wardens. I was in the Deep Roads when that one came by. What was his name? Dukan, Dunka... something like that. I met him, sure. Good man. Solid. He knows what we go through in the Deep Roads. Not many do. Not even the ones who live this close. You have to be on the front lines. I go where I'm sent, fight when I'm there, and leave politics where it belongs. Darkspawn. Not much use in turning our weapons elsewhere while those vermin still live. Watch yourself. Orzammar politics are getting near as dangerous as battle.
Wow, level-headed, solid dude like that. If get Bhelen the hell out of the way and put someone at least half-assed decent on the throne, this guy would be fighting for him instead, and us. I'm down with that. Sounds good to me.
Get away. You'll change like the rest. Monsters hidden in all my friends. They follow you. Once you are in the story, they possess your friends and follow. See? I found copies. All from the same pen, and older than the ones in song. Dormant my ass. Take them. I want out. I won't disappear chasing a lie.
I'm really not sure what he's talking about, but I think I've been collecting things. Pieces of paper or something that lead to talking to him and eventually lead to... I think something down in the deep roads. We'll probably go find something. Who knows? Find out when we get there.
And then he practically slapped me. Lord Dennick Helmy, honored Desher of the Orzammar Assembly, and terrible disappointment to my esteemed mother, who doesn't like me spending time in taverns. So I'm curious. You've been living on the surface, right? Does it function any worse than Orzammar for having abolished caste? But there are those like you who see this with concern, no? Well, I've taken the time to actually talk to the other castes. You know, most smiths and tavern keeps would make decent deshers if we gave them a chance and a seat in the assembly. Orzammar are so mired in tradition, no one bothers asking if the castes are even necessary. Badly. Oh, you're serious? Well, it's simple, I guess. The king and elected deshers of the assembly are at the top. Then it's the nobles. Then the warriors and all the craftsmen. At the bottom are servants. The casteless and criminals are below even that. Your caste is determined by that of your same-sex parent. And that's where you stay your whole life, whatever your skill. Me and 79 other fine, upstanding examples of how someone who's born into every privilege inevitably wants more. They're not fond of my views on equality. I doubt either candidate has been outside the Diamond Quarter in his life. But Lord Harrowmont seems a bit more forgiving. Prince Bhelen's brilliant, I'll give him that, and subtle as sin. But I don't think anything in Orzammar matters more to him than winning. As you wish.
Now, before I go deciding Orzammar's future and think of abolishing everything that they've lived on all along up to this point and start casting a judgment on right or wrong, I need to look at where I came from and think if the background, the foundation from which I've drawn all my experience is any better. And we look at surface politics, and they're probably worse than this. Bhelen's bad, but he's not Logang, right? He's at least not looking to destroy Orzammar. Single-handedly destroy Orzammar, such as Logain is doing to Ferelden. So, I mean, I'm not one to judge. I can't come in and make that kind of decision. I don't have the wisdom or foresight to know the effects that all those that decision would produce down the line. Because from where I'm coming from, we don't do anything right. So I can't tell them what's right and wrong either. And only someone who feels entitled to having an opinion, who's so self-serving and so self-pitying that they think that their opinion is important enough that it should overlook consequences and so on and so forth, would make that type of decision. So, yeah, I wouldn't be one to do that. And you can essentially, at least, I guess you could say, promote one side or the other, depending on who you put on the throne. But I'm just looking at, you know, if I had to make a decision, what's the one that's going to do the least harm in the long run, right? And as far as changing things, Bhelen's bad, but their system, whatever I may think of their caste system, And having been a victim of it, in a sense. Well, not so much a victim of it, but having been cast out and now getting a taste of what it's like to be castless, so to speak.
Stranger, with Orzammar closed off, old Tegrin can give you a discount. Fine weapon and arms, dwarven made.
Apparently when you run out of ambushes, you just hit old Tegrin there by default. In case you've missed something in his inventory or something. I think other than maybe a tome, he doesn't really have anything else that's unique.
Welcome back, friend. You'll be glad to learn that the Circle is well on its way to recovery. Orzammar, indeed. You have piqued my curiosity. It is common knowledge that dwarves lack the aptitude for spellcraft. She will never be able to weave the simplest magic, no matter how hard she tries. Fascinating. I suppose the Circle should be flattered. I see. If she is willing to sacrifice so much for this, then we should feel honored. Tell Dagna of Orzammar that this path will not be easy. But if she chooses it, then she is welcome here at the Circle. She will live and study with the Tranquil, and perhaps the apprentices, when it is appropriate. If only the Circle was in better shape. I fear she may be disappointed when she arrives. This will be interesting. She could tell us much about our dwarven neighbors. Yes, the more I think about it, the more I like the idea. I shall take this as an indication that perhaps things are starting to look up for the Circle. Thank you. You've already done much for the Circle. Now you must see to your duty as a Grey Warden. I wish you well. Know you will always be welcome here.
Alright. We can go deliver the good news to Dagna. I want to go enchant my items and give Morgan her mirror before we head back, and then get into Deep Roads and go kill some stuff there too.
What have you there? A mirror? It is just the same as the mirror which Flemeth smashed on the ground so long ago. It is incredible that you found one so like it. I am uncertain what to say. You must wish something in return, certainly. You say that as if I should be accustomed to such a thing. I have never received a gift, not one which did not come at a price. I suppose I should say thank you for the gift. 'Tis most thoughtful, truly.
Major magic. I think she has one more degree and it's massive magic.
Indeed.
I believe. One more.
Yes.
Not sure though. Either way, she gets a permanent boost to her magic, and we're best buds now. She loves me. And I think Tegrin, I think we stop there again. Like I said, I think we're out of proper ambushes where you actually fight and stuff. So anyway, back in Orzammar. It's time to head to the Diamond Quarter. Alright, this is essentially just the marketplace.
You're the best wrangler I've ever seen.
We'll go get into the real meat of the political part of this whole deal. go deal with our family and so on and so forth. All right, thanks for watching, and we will do more Orzammar when we get back on the next one. Till then, if you'd like to subscribe, hit that button over my head. For all my videos, click the box on the left, and I will catch you guys later. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.